Welcome to the deep dive. We take the material you send in, the sources you share, and really pull out the key insights you need to get up to speed fast.
Yeah, think of it as like your shortcut to really understanding what's important in the stuff you're curious about.
And today we're diving into online entrepreneurship. One of you sent us Sam Vander book, When I Start My Business, I'll Be Happy. Quite a title, right? A practical, no BS guide.
It really is. It covers a lot, from those initial, fears that stop people, all the way to building something solid, even scaling it up pretty significantly. It's the whole journey.
And what's really interesting, I think, and probably relatable for a lot of listeners, is her background. She completely switched careers from being a lawyer to starting an online business.
A big leap. It's a great example of someone saying, nope, this isn't it, and then building something totally new.
Exactly. So our mission today is to unpack the core advice the experiences shared in this book, give you a clear picture of, well, what it really takes to start and grow online. Ready to jump in.
Let's do it. So maybe we'll start with the trigger. That moment that really kicked things off for her. The book talks about this seriously rough flight. She calls it a pants-crapping moment.
Right. Yeah, that plane drop wasn't just scary. It was like a sudden wake-up call. Her whole path, the legal career, just felt completely wrong in that instant.
And it wasn't, totally out of the blue. The book mentions some tough stuff from her childhood, her mom's struggles.
Oh, okay.
And it seems like that fit into this real desire for control, for a different kind of life.
Yeah, that makes sense. And what's kind of amazing is how quickly she acted after that flight. Just boom, started an online business. But she found out pretty fast it wasn't some magic fix for everything.
Which is such a crucial point. This isn't a happily ever after story from day one. She's really open about the fact that the early business years were happening alongside some incredibly difficult personal things.
It really grounds it in reality, doesn't it? Building a business happens in life with all the messy stuff. And the book's goal is really about navigating that, building success despite the challenges. So maybe we should clarify what kind of online business she's mostly talking about.
Good point. It's mainly focused on virtual service-based businesses. So think coaching, consulting, selling online courses, digital products, that kind of thing.
Okay.
It's different from, say, influencers or bloggers who are primarily promoting other people's stuff.
Got it. That distinction's helpful. She even tells this funny story about trying to explain it to her dad early on. Shows how new it all felt not too long ago.
Totally. Puts it in perspective. And that feeling she had being sort of trapped in a job she didn't like,
Yeah.
the law career, I bet a lot of people listening can relate to that feeling, driving them towards something else like entrepreneurship.
Oh, definitely. And
Yeah.
it takes real guts, doesn't it, to make that switch, especially when people around you might be skeptical or, projecting their own fears onto you.
Exactly. And the book has this interesting take on what we might see as failures, like a past career that didn't work out or other things.
Yeah.
They're not wasted time. They're actually like prep work, good experience. And she even says they can become great material for your content later on.
Huh. That's a useful reframe. Okay, so we've got the why, the motivation. Now let's get into the how. The book uses this gardening analogy, which I thought was pretty clever.
Yeah, the 4 stages: seed, sprout, cultivate, and pruning. It makes the whole growth process feel a bit more concrete.
Okay, let's start with seed. What's the main thing there?
Key insight: validate demand rigorously through beta testing before significant investment. It's all about demand testing. Like, seriously finding out if people actually want this thing before you spend ages building it.
Right, beta testing, offering a basic version to a small group first.
Exactly. Get that real-world feedback. See if people will actually pay for it. And it's not just about demand. It's also supply research, but deeper than just counting competitors.
Okay, so what does that involve?
It's looking at what they actually offer, how crowded the space feels, and crucially, finding those gaps, like what need isn't being met, what unique angle can you bring?
Her own example with the legal templates fits here, right? Others were doing it, but she found a specific unmet need within that market.
Precisely. Okay, so after seed comes sprout. What's the focus now?
This is all about building that first audience online and figuring out how to market to them. The basics like email marketing, social media, maybe dipping a toe into digital ads.
It's that early growth phase, right?
Yeah.
It can be slow going, like building an email list. Often starts with just your mom and a few friends.
Totally. And then hopefully starts to grow.
And the book really pushes back on the idea that you just, create a freebie and people will magically appear.
Right. You have to actively market the freebie.
Constantly.
Yeah.
You need to get it in front of the right people.
Makes sense. You got to water the sprouts. Okay, then cultivate.
Cultivate is more about relationships, especially with others in your field, like cross-promotions, guesting on each other's podcasts or blogs, maybe doing trainings for each other's audiences.
So leveraging each other's reach.
Exactly. Mutual benefit. She talks about starting ads later when she had the foundation, but also really diversifying by doing things like podcast interviews to get in front of new audiences.
Smart. Not putting all your eggs in one basket. Okay, last stage. Pruning. Sounds decisive.
It kind of is.
Yeah.
It's when your business hits certain points, maybe plateaus, and you have to have the tough questions like, where do I really want to go next? What will that actually cost in time, energy, money? What does success even mean to me now?
So it involves cutting back, maybe? Prioritizing?
Yeah, auditing your time, focusing on things like evergreen content stuff that stays relevant, and the activities that actually bring in revenue.
Yeah.
And maybe starting to delegate, hiring VAs, contractors.
Freeing yourself up for the bigger picture stuff?
Right. And she connects this stage very personally to when she lost her parents. Having systems already in place, those evergreen funnels running automatically, gave her stability during that incredibly hard time.
Wow. Yeah, that really shows how business and life are just intertwined.
Totally. Your relationship with your business changes. And the book really stresses that ultimately your business should bring you some level of, peace, joy, pride, fulfillment.
So the big takeaway from these stages?
I think it's that building an online business isn't just one straight line. It's a process with different phases needing different things. You have to keep adapting.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Talk about the practical stuff, especially the money side of getting started. The book really hammers home the need for planning before you leap.
Oh, absolutely. It's not just about the big idea. You need to be realistic about the time it takes, the money you'll need, where your focus has to be, and saving is a huge piece of that.
Yeah, building up some capital. And she says to take a really honest look at your personal budget, really know what it costs you to live every month.
And she gives some practical tips too, like trying to negotiate your existing bills down. Call companies, ask for retention deals. You might be surprised.
That's a good point. Every little bit helps. And she also stresses that your personal bills don't get paid straight from the business account at first. Maybe sell some stuff you don't need to build that buffer.
Yeah, find ways to bring in extra cash while you're getting started. Now, for a lot of people, the reality is keeping their day job while building the business on the side. That foot in both worlds thing.
Which the book acknowledges is super stressful.
Totally. But it also says that phase is kind of normal, even necessary sometimes, and actually useful for testing your ideas before you go all in.
Right, validating the concept while you still have that safety net. Okay, so once the business does start making money, how does she suggest managing it?
4 main buckets. First, taxes. Set aside money for taxes. She suggests 25–30%. Pay those quarterly estimates. Don't get caught out.
Crucial. Okay, what's next?
Operating expenses. Keep enough in the business account to cover costs for, say, 6 months. Gives you a cushion.
Good buffer.
Third, investments in the business. But be smart about it, mindful, purposeful. She warns against wasting money early on, like on fancy branding before you're even clear on your direction, or sacks of business cards.
Yeah, easy traps to fall into. What about good investments then?
Things like mindset coaching can be valuable. Masterminds, but maybe after you've launched and have some traction. Business training from people who've actually done what you want to do and where you have a clear goal for what you'll get out of it.
So it's about knowing the why behind the investment, not just hoping it magically solves everything.
Exactly. It still takes work. And the last bucket.
Paying yourself.
Right.
Properly separating business and personal finances.
Right. Now, another big hurdle is waiting for the perfect time to start. The book tackles this head on.
Yeah, it basically says there is no perfect time. That feeling is often just fear wearing a disguise. Just take the first step, however small.
And she includes some really good journal prompts to challenge that waiting game. Like, if not now, when? What's really going to be different later?
Good question.
And list 3 reasons it's better to start now. What are you risking by not starting now? Really forces you to confront it.
Definitely. And connected to taking action is this idea she calls future-proofing your business.
What's that about?
It's about making decisions today based on the business you want to have in the future, not just where you are right now. It's about acting like the successful owner you plan to be.
Adopting the mindset before you have the results.
Exactly. Thinking bigger from the start, it can really shift your trajectory if you have a clear vision of where you're headed.
Okay, shifting to the internal stuff again. Imposter syndrome. So common.
Ugh, yes. Feeling like a fraud even when you're qualified. The book definitely validates that feeling.
That little voice saying you're not good enough, you'll get found out. But she also makes a good point. Sometimes feeling out of your depth is legit. Like if you're operating outside your expertise or legal scope.
That's an important distinction, but usually imposter syndrome gets amplified by, well, social media, right? Comparing your messy reality to everyone else's shiny highlight reel.
For sure. And the advice there is pretty direct. Unfollow or mute accounts that make you feel bad. Even competitors sometimes. Protect your headspace.
Yeah, she gives an example of a nutritionist, Julie, who did that.
Right. And by cutting down on consuming other people's stuff, she actually found her own voice and gained confidence.
That's powerful. And that leads into another mindset piece, shifting from scarcity to abundance.
Can you break that down? The difference?
Scarcity is focusing on lack, like there isn't enough to go around, fear of running out, leads to cautious, maybe fearful decisions. Abundance is believing there are enough resources, opportunities. It fuels optimism, curiosity, and decision-making.
It's easy to feel scarcity online, though, seeing so much competition.
True. But the book reframes it. The online market is global, the possibilities are vast, and the constant change online, that's actually an opportunity if you have an abundance view.
Good perspective. Okay, another hurdle, especially early on. Embracing being a beginner.
So important. It's easy to get down when you don't know everything yet. The book uses this great phrase, everyone starts.
Right, like even the top athletes were beginners once, messing up, learning.
Exactly. LeBron wasn't born dunking. It reminds us that setbacks and things not working out perfectly are just part of the process. Appreciate how far you've already come.
Embrace the messiness at the start. Find that perseverance. And the action steps are good too.
Yeah.
List your wins, however small they feel.
Yeah, and measure from where you started, not just comparing to where you want to end up eventually.
Good advice. Lastly, on the inner stuff, loneliness. Working online can be isolating.
Definitely. She shares a really vulnerable story about doing a webinar and literally no one showing up.
Oof, yeah.
And how bad that felt. But it's a reminder that flops happen, low engagement happens. You're not alone in that.
So the advice is to be intentional about connection outside the business.
Yeah. Make space for socializing. Connect with non-business friends and find peers who get the online business roller coaster, though maybe avoid the ones who only talk stats.
Finding that balance. So the takeaway on the inner game.
It's basically that strategy isn't enough. You have to manage your mindset, deal with the internal roadblocks, and build a solid support system around you. It's just as important as the external stuff.
Okay, makes sense. So you got the mindset dialed in, finances sorted. Now, how do you actually stand out? That online world can feel pretty noisy.
It really can. The book starts with just being yourself, your unique self. She talks about being unapologetically individual as a kid before social media kind of pushed everyone towards conforming.
It's that idea that being authentic gives other people permission to be authentic too, right?
Right.
She mentions her mom's style.
Yeah, her mom just owned her unconventional style, and it drew people in. It's a reminder that your quirks can be your strengths. But business uniqueness isn't just personality.
Right. It could be your specific approach or a different kind of product, your brand's vibe, your message, maybe a unique method you use.
And there are prompts to help figure that out. How do you do things differently in your industry? Why is your way better?
Or, have you created something genuinely different? How and why is different better for your customer?
Good questions to ponder. And of course, she warns against standing out in bad ways, like doing things illegally or unethically. For licensed pros, like doctors or dietitians, she stresses educating people on your actual qualifications.
Makes sense. Now, for content creation itself, what's the main advice for standing out?
Create content in the format that best teaches your stuff. Visual, audio, written, whatever works. And be yourself when you deliver it. Relaxed, authentic teaching connects better. Also, if a certain content formula works, repeat it.
Don't reinvent the wheel constantly. Okay. Now, the big objection. Why pay you when I can find this free online? How do you handle that?
The book points out most free stuff is fragmented, not enough for real results, and often wastes time. The key is articulating the benefit of paying you.
Like saving time, avoiding mistakes, getting tailored guidance,
Oh,
getting the actual results.
exactly. And this is where testimonials are gold. Show, don't just tell. Okay, let's talk email marketing. The book really champions its importance.
Yeah, for building deeper connections, right? Staying top of mind.
Definitely. It talks about tracking metrics, open rates, click-throughs, unsubscribes to see what's working, and recommends a weekly email. Not always selling, but sharing value, tips, behind-the-scenes stuff. Builds trust.
That know, like, and trust factor.
Yeah,
And then there are sales sequences.
right. A series of emails, maybe 6, 8, designed to nurture and convert. Key elements are tackling objections, using social proof like testimonials, and framing features as benefits for the reader.
And freebies are the lead magnets for these sequences, promoted everywhere.
Pretty much. Website, social media, and create social content that kind of leads into the freebie, gives a taste of the value. It's all about experimenting with email, seeing what your audience responds to.
Like her example of listening to customer questions and creating the ultimate bundle product based on those recurring needs.
Exactly. Which brings us to building a high-value product. The book stresses, though, that $1 million product isn't the only goal. Set your own goals.
That's refreshing. And it emphasizes learning by doing.
Totally. Implementation is the best teacher. Adapt strategies to your situation. But the steps for a high-value product are there. Research, beta testing, customer focus, solid marketing, eventually a sales funnel.
And no get-rich-quick stuff. Build it brick by brick. So phase 1, research and development. Where do you get insights?
Surveys, customer interviews, watching online discussions, maybe that beta sell idea. Ask about their struggles, what solution they dream of, what stops them.
And if there are competitors,
You gotta know why someone would choose you. You need to be different or better in a meaningful way, like Canva making design easier and cheaper. Solve their problem effectively.
understand their dream outcome, the transformation they want. Okay, what about the minimum viable product MVP?
Launching a basic version quickly to test the market, instead of aiming for perfection for months before you even know if people want it. Beta testing is key here.
Getting feedback from ideal customers early on. How do you run a good beta test?
Target the right people, promote it, ask specific questions about their pain points, the benefits they got, the outcomes they wanted, record everything, use their language in your marketing later.
Smart. And happy customers lead to referrals. Focus on results. But she also mentions the happy trap.
Yeah, it's realizing you're responsible to people giving them your best product and support, but not for their happiness or results. They have to engage too. And you can't please everyone. That's okay.
Good boundary. Okay, lead generation. Freebies are central here.
Absolutely. The main goal is getting the right people onto your email list by offering real value.
And promoting those freebies.
Social media, content platforms like YouTube, podcasts, create different types of content. Cornerstone, hero, personal. Engage people.
And SEO is important for those content platforms.
Hugely. Keywords and titles, descriptions, file names, helps people find you when they're searching. It's a long game, compounds over time. Then, once that's working, paid ads come in.
Yeah, but not too early. You need a funnel that actually works first. Ads amplify what's already good. They don't fix a broken system.
Right. And she distinguishes cold leads, no prior contact, from warm leads, already familiar. Warm leads convert much better.
So funnels often start with a free offer, like a webinar, right? And can be evergreen or live.
Exactly. Evergreen runs automatically, leave happens at specific times. The goal is to bring people into your world, email, social, podcast, and nurture that relationship.
And she highlights the big 3 discovery platforms.
YouTube, podcasting, and blogging. Why? Better searchability, SEO power, longer lifespan than typical social media posts.
And the advice is to pick one big 3 platform to focus on initially.
Yes. Don't spread yourself too thin trying to be everywhere. She admits she wasted time doing that. Focus. Be consistent. Social media has its place. Quick wins maybe, but it's risky to rely on it solely due to algorithms and, honestly, the mental health side.
So choosing your big 3 platform involves thinking about
What you enjoy creating, your skills, where your audience hangs out, your resources, and being willing to experiment. And again, SEO is vital for whichever you choose.
and have a realistic content plan. Schedule content pillars.
Right. Core topic, customer stories, product info, personal stuff. Balance it. But always focus on helping the audience. It's a living system. You keep tweaking it. It sounds like the big 3 is harder work initially than just posting on social.
It often is. Long-form content takes more effort, but it's more sustainable long-term. The book suggests balancing social media with your chosen big 3 platform for longevity and sanity.
Okay, so key takeaways on platform strategy.
Focus on one main platform first. Recognize the power of the big 3 for sustainability. Be consistent. experiment, and balance social media use strategically.
Right. Brings it all together. Finally, the book circles back to that crucial inner game and the need for support systems. It talks about how our childhood stuff can really show up in business.
Definitely. Those old insecurities, patterns, perfectionism, people-pleasing, anxiety, they can all bubble up. She shares her dad's cold water idea, like splashing cold water on your face to reset and move on from a setback.
I like that. And dealing with online negativity, critics, mean comments.
Pretty much inevitable online. The advice is basically, don't feed the trolls. Let go of engaging with constant negativity. Focus on your people. And set clear boundaries with customers. Define your support clearly up front.
Good point. And support isn't just customer related, it's internal and external.
Right. Internal is hiring help. Delegating tasks frees you up for strategic work. External is your network support of family, friends, and especially peers. People who get the entrepreneurial journey. Surround yourself with positive influences.
Makes a huge difference. And the final message seems to be about focusing on what you can control.
Exactly. You can't control everything that happens, but you can control how you show up, how you respond, and doing your best might look different day to day or different from someone else. And that's okay.
It's a good reminder that starting out often feels scary, maybe overwhelming, and wanting to quit sometimes. That's normal too.
Totally normal. The key is just to keep putting one foot in front of the other, doing your best, whatever that looks like for you on that day. Well, this has been a really solid look into Sam Vander's Wielen's book. Lots of practical, straight-up advice in there, and a good dose of reality about the whole online business journey.
Definitely. A great resource if you want to understand not just the how-to, but also the why and the mindset needed to build something sustainable online.
Agreed. And maybe a final thought for you listening. Think about which specific seed of an idea from this deep dive really stuck with you. What's one small, actionable, watering step you could maybe take today or this week just to start nurturing it? Something to think about. Until next time on The Deep Dive.